whilst the presentation is going on our in our chat box. You can also share any conversations, any information that you want us to also know, and we will ask our guest. Today's program is going to be a one-off, and it's going to be one that will interest you. Okay, to begin the whole program, and my interest you to know that by 2050, one out of every young people globally will be what? An African. And you should know by now because 60% of Africa's population is youthful. And we know we are over 1.5 billion workforce. And 60% are below the ages of what? 25. It might also interest you to know that over 10 million Africans graduate annually, and these people enter the job market on a yearly basis. But 3.1 million formal jobs are made available. So you can imagine the gap that is what is being created. Studies has also shown that international graduates are mostly preferred to those who earn their degrees locally. And employers, 91% of employers always prefer to have graduates with international studies and cross-cultural experiences to add up into their workforce. And that is why this webinar series is very much important. It will also interest you that 36% of African youth are enrolled in tertiary education as compared to the global average of 40%. And that is why at Drive to Inspire, we bring you conversations like this to boost the African youth and give the necessary and required skills and the opportunities for us to also reach that global average. So today we have nothing but the best. We are exploring global opportunities in education, and we are going to have a young man who has done it all. I can confidently say that I'm a product of his business activities, and he's by the name Shadrack Otchere. Shadrack, by way of profile, is the founder and manager of Admissions World Consult, and it's a Ghanaian-based educational consultancy company with representation in Nigeria and Kenya. Since establishing the company in 2021, he has led its growth into trusted international education advisory brand, helping more than 1,000 students secure admissions to institutions across the United Kingdom, Canada, United States, Europe, and China. He holds a bachelor's degree and is pursuing an MSc in international business at the University of Ghana Business School. His academic background, entrepreneurial experience, and expertise in global education positions him as a strong advocate in expanding international study opportunities for African students. When it comes to its recognition, he has a wholesome lot of recognitions. Shadrack has received several recognitions from his leadership and contributions to education. In September this year, he was honored the education. In September last year, I beg your pardon, he was honored in the education category of 40 under 40 awards for his impact in global education. He has also received awards from Ghana Business Standard Awards in 2023 and 2024. He was also recognized as an outstanding leader in educational consultancy at the National Business Award in 2025 and received honors in Elite Brand Award in Kenya 2024. and a Jubilant Steward of Africa Award in Kenya in 2023 and 2024. When it comes to its professional impact, he is an ICEF certified professional, and Admission World Consult is an approved center for the British Council IELTS examination. Through his work, Shadrack continues to connect students, families, institutions, and stakeholders with credible pathways to global education. Beyond consultancy, he is the founder of Admissions World Fair, a prestigious platform that brings representatives from international institutions, particularly from the United Kingdom, United States, Canada, and Europe, together with prospective students for admission inquiries, career guidance, and knowledge sharing and global educational network. Ladies and gentlemen, there is someone who has been in this business and has explored global opportunities throughout his life. And I'm a product from what he has done. And by way of recognition, we have Sandra from Ghana. Sandra, welcome. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's webinar series is going to focus on exploring global educational opportunities. And with our audience, we know that this is an opportunity that you wouldn't want to miss. It is very important because these are the things that we need as what African youth to leverage and close the informational gap that is making us fall short in the world or the global stage. So at this stage, I would like to again say that our guest speaker is someone that, okay, so by way of acknowledgement, we have people from Kenya also with us. We have Ghana, we have people from Tanzania. Okay, please send your, how do you call it? Send where you are listening to us from so that I'll also acknowledge you. Okay, we'll acknowledge you. We have people from Botswana. Wow, welcome. We have people from Malawi. Okay, Tamale, Ghana. Awesome. That is Charles. Andromeda is from Ghana. We have Tatu from Botswana. We have Simwayi from Malawi. Please let your information keep drop in our chat box, and we'll acknowledge you. Priscilla from Ghana. Priscilla is also listening to us and watching us live from Ghana. Shine is also from Ghana. Claudia from Ghana, thank you for joining us. Davis is also from Ghana. Davis, thank you for also logging in to this program. Ladies and gentlemen, you can keep just want to acknowledge as many people as possible, okay, before we start. Our guest is ready. Our guest is ready, but want you to have that conversation with us. Faith is from Kenya. Faith, welcome all the way from Kenya. Welcome to our monthly webinar series. Okay, so at this time, I would like to bring our guest of honor in to make his presentation. And we want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. Shadrack, Mr. Shadrack Otchere, please, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It looks like I'm a little bit late with the whole country pronunciation. I think you guys were trying to come up with where you guys are coming from when I joined. And I don't know where I'm going to get that data. I don't know if you guys were typing in with where you're coming from, but I know that I'm seeing people from different African countries. I'm seeing Adiza from Ghana. That's fine. I know it's not just Ghana I'm speaking to. I'm speaking to lots of other nationalities and all of that. And so this is a great platform. I mean, when I see platforms like this, I'm very happy because when people like you are trying to use your data for webinars, it means that you actually know what you are doing. You have goals that you want to achieve, because we are in an era that you have so many things to use the data for. TikTok is all over. Everybody's watching videos, but I decide to be on webinars to upgrade your lives and all of that. And so this is a great a day for me to present to you the opportunities that you could explore globally, the educational opportunities that you could explore globally. So my name is Shadrack Otchere, and I am the founder. I usually do not want to be called the founder. I like to call myself as the managing director. I feel like before anybody can, I feel businesses belong to God, and so God is always the ultimate founder. So I like to be called the managing director. I'm the one managing, but then the founder wasn't me. Yeah, so my name is Shadrack Otchere, and I'm the founder of, I'm the managing director of Admission World Consult Limited. All right, so let me try to project my slides for you so we can start real quick with everything we want to do tonight. Okay, I hope everybody can see my slide. All right, that's fine. I know there are reaction buttons there, and so if there's anything, if anybody has anything to say, you can prompt me there. I'll be looking over there to see all the things going on there. All right. So today we are going to talk about exploring global education opportunities. Okay, so I know that everybody here is one way or the other looking to study abroad. If it is not even you, you are looking to get information for a family member, a friend, a sister, whoever. And so I'm going to take you through, the roadmap to studying abroad, from the destinations you could look at, from the scholarships that are available to you, and the actual admission processes that you have to go through. And then when you are done with school, what about the ROIs, the return on investment and all of that? Is it worth it to want to study abroad? And so I'm going to take you through all of these things. And then after the whole presentation, I'm going to ask you to ask me questions that with everything we did, and then I will share an attendee handout to all of you, which is going to basically have a summary of everything that I would talk about. And so when you're going home, you have something to take home to reference. You can have you can see everything that I spoke about in that attendee handout. And so that would also be given to you. All right. So, like I said, my name is Shadrack. I'm the managing director of Admission World Consult Limited, and Admission World is an educational consultancy company. We are based in Ghana, but we've got representation in Nigeria and then in Kenya. In Kenya, we are in Nairobi, in Abuja. Nigeria, we are in Abuja. And so, if we've got Kenyans or Nigerians in the house, then if you want to reach out to us, we've got representation in those countries. So what we basically do is we guide students, students like you who are looking to study abroad. We guide you through the whole process from having the thoughts, the goal, the aspiration, whatever, to we turning them into reality. So we guide you through the whole process. And so we guide you through the kind of schools to select, the scholarships applications, visas, and everything. Okay, so I have 45 minutes for this session. So I'm going to walk you through how to find the right schools, the funding, win a place at universities around the world, and then I can take your questions when I'm done. All right. So this is what we are going to cover today. I'm going to talk about global opportunities, why studying abroad is within your reach. I mean, some people feel like studying abroad is just for a certain class of people, but I mean, with today we will get to know that it's also within your reach. You may have zero balance in your account, but you can still study abroad, and then you may have very high amount of funds, and you can still study abroad. So it's a chance for everybody with the desire, with the aspiration to study abroad. You just need the right guidance, and then you can achieve those goals. And so we're going to talk about why studying abroad is within your reach. And then we also talk about the destinations and pathways. So where to go and which route fits you, okay? And then we would also talk about some of the scholarships and the funding, how to pay if you have to pay for it, and then how to win awards if you have to win scholarships, how you're going to go by that. And then I take you through the actual journey with the actual application and admission process, the documents you would need, timelines you need to apply for admissions, and I mean, when admissions come, we also deal with the visa aspect as well. And then I would end with careers after school, and then return on investment. So you turn your degree into a global career. And so that after ending, that is when I sit back to and listen to all the questions that you have with what I presented. All right. So if we don't have any questions at this moment, then let me just start with my first slide. Okay. So the first slide talks about why explore global education. All right. Okay. So now these are the reasons why you would want to study abroad. Okay. So I know that everybody knows that if you want to study abroad, you are looking at world-class learning. Okay. We are not saying that the schools in your individual countries are not world-class institutions, but there are certain programs that you may want to study in your country that you may not have access to them, or they may not even exist in the institutions that you have in your country. And so studying abroad, studying abroad gives you access to programs, to research and specializations that are not always available at home. And so this is one good reason to want to study abroad. And the second is global exposure. Okay, you are going to build international networks, cross-cultural skills, and confidence. So when we talk about cross-cultural skills, we're basically talking about you being a Kenyan, or you being a Nigerian, or you being a Ghanaian, and being in the same room with people from Pakistan, from the UK, from the US, from Canada. You get to understand the culture of these people. I mean, if you want to actually be a global leader, what you have to do is to understand different cultures, because you would know how to deal with different people at different times. And so studying abroad gives you that global exposure that will help with you acquiring cross-cultural skills and that confidence. When you understand people, when you know the culture people hold, yeah, you have the confidence to deal with them. And so it gives you that kind of confidence as well. Now, funding is also real. When people talk about, do you get funding if you want to study abroad, is there a way that you would get funding? Yes, funding is real. There are thousands of scholarships and assistantships that are open to African students every year. And so, yes, funding exists, is real. Now, the next thing is career mobility. So stronger earning potential and the freedom to work across borders. Okay. If somebody acquires certifications from, let's say, the UK, you know that when you come to Ghana, there's that stronger earning potential with salaries and then with the kind of jobs that you may get with that kind of certificate. And so um, these are the reasons why you may want to explore global education, world-class learning, global exposure. Funding is real. You can get full scholarships to study abroad and you wouldn't have to pay anything. And then there's that form of mobility for your career where you earn strongly and then you have the freedom to work across different organizations, international organizations, and all of that because of the certificate you hold. Okay, so let me now come to destinations and pathways. Okay, so when I talk about destinations and pathways, I'm basically talking about where you can study and then the pathways, whether you're going to study for bachelor's, whether you're going to take a foundation program, whether you're going to take a master's program, you're going to take a PhD. And so the world is full of options. So let's find the ones that fit your goals. Okay, so the ones that fit your goals, your grades, and your budget. That's what you look out for. So let's deal with the destinations and the pathways that we can have. So if you look at the popular destinations that we have, I know that most people know people who are studying in the US, you know people who are studying in the UK, and the same with Canada, with Germany, with Australia. And then there's also the chance to even get closer to home. There are people that are from Nigeria who are studying in Ghana, and there are people who are in Ghana who are studying in Rwanda. There are people in Ghana who are studying in South Africa. So when we talk about studying abroad, it's not basically you going to Western countries. It's any place that gets you out of your country is an abroad. I should put it that way. Yes. So there are different ways, different countries that you could have access to their level of study and their programs and all of that. And so the United States, if you are going to choose the US has huge choice of universities. In fact, if you look at the number of universities in the US, I think if you compare to other countries, it's like twice or thrice what other countries have. Even their private investors, they have lots of them, even more than public investors, because they give the chance for, they practice this capitalism and all of that. They give the chance for several private individuals to set up their own industries and universities and all of that. And so US is a huge choice for lots of people because of the numbers of universities they have. And US also has generous funding. And they have what we call the optional practical training. When you are done with school, you have the chance, especially when you take STEM programs. Right? I think all of you know what STEM is. When you take programs that has to do with science, technology, and all of that, engineering, math, and all of that, when you are done, you have what we call optional practical training. You have the chance to stay behind for like 2 or 3 years to now practice what you learned through attachments and internships and all of that. And so US has that option. Now, when you go to the UK, what is unique with UK is the fact that most countries don't have masters for a year, but UK universities, most of their masters are just for a year. And so people feel like it's a cut in your budget, in your expenses. If Canada is doing 2 years, if the US is doing 2 years for their investors and UK is doing a year, then that will reduce the amount of money you would have paid for any of these countries. And so people also choose UK with the intention that UK has 1 year masters, and which is still world class when compared to other countries. And they have world rank schools as well, and they also have what we call the graduate route work visa. And so when you're also done with, it's just similar to the optional practical training in the US. When you are done with school in the UK, you also get to stay behind for like 2 years to apply. You apply for the graduate route work visa, where you also stay for like 2 or 3 years to look for a job after your studies. And so it's not like the first where when you're done with school, when you are done studying in the UK, you have to come back home. Now you have the chance to stay for like 2 years to look for a job. They give you this kind of visa, which is a graduate route or graduate route work visa, depending on where which is good, how you want to say. Yeah, and in Canada too, yes, one thing with Canada is Canada has affordable tuition. Now, when we talk about affordable, it's big, the fact that it's charged in Canadian dollars. Okay, and so Canada has people go for Canada because they believe Canada has very affordable tuition. And if you are even doing 2 years in Canada, you're looking at tuition fee of maybe 18,000 Canadian dollars a year, and then UK is doing like maybe 19,000 pounds. Sometimes you combine is basically like Canada is still getting a little bit cheaper or something. So people look at affordability when they want to go to Canada. And then people also go to Canada because of their welcoming immigration policies. Okay, so Canada's immigration policies are very welcoming, and the fact that you have the chance to become a permanent resident even within 2 years, the fact that your family can join you. UK had that, but that was cancelled. You can't go with dependents unless it's a research program. Canada, if you are doing your master's or PhD, you can go with your whole family. And so people feel Canada has a welcoming immigration policy and affordability with Canadian dollars. And so they choose Canada. And Canada also has post-study work permit. So the post-study work permit is also similar to the graduate route work visa for UK and the optional practical training for the US. So post-study work permit, if you study in Canada for 2 years masters, when you are done, you can apply for what we call the PGWP, which is postgraduate work permit, which you would get 2 to 3 years. So if it is a 1 year program, you get 1 year. If it is a 2 year program, you get 2 to 3 years to stay and to work. And after that, if you get a job, you just extend it. You just extend, you apply for an actual work visa. And then if you are more than 2 years in the country, you can now go for a permanent residence. You become a PR holder in the country. So yes, just know that permanent residency is different from citizenship. Okay, if you're a permanent resident, it doesn't mean that you could become the president of Canada. You need to be a citizen to be the president of Canada. So the permanent residency is just like the green card. It's you being a permanent resident. You've been absorbed into our community. We like you. We want you to stay with us. It doesn't mean that you are one of us. You understand? So you get the opportunities of domestic students. You get opportunities of most of the things that the locals enjoy. You wouldn't be paying tuition fee as an international student anymore. But there are some limitations that you wouldn't, it's just like the green card that I'm saying, that you wouldn't enjoy as a permanent resident because you are not a citizen. And one of them is holding public offices and all of that, unless you maybe naturalized to become a citizen or something, you can become the president or hold public offices. And so Canada, that is for Canada, they have that soft immigration policies for students. Now, when we go to Germany, people also choose Germany because of low tuition or no tuition at all. And in fact, if you go to Germany, all their public institutions do not charge tuition fees. It's a free education for them. It's just like in Ghana, we have the free senior high school policy. And so in Germany, yes, the only difference is that I don't know if the free senior high school policy in Ghana affects international students as well. I think they pay, but in Germany, their free tuition affects international students as well. So if you're an international student and then you get admission into their public universities, it's either very low tuition or you don't even pay tuition fees at all. It's a free tuition country. Yes. And but just know that I mean, you could have people consult and say that I want to study in Germany, and I know that all schools in Germany are free. No, it's not like that. In fact, most of the schools that are free are public institutions, like I said, and most of them would also require you to have a little bit of German language. Okay, most of the programs that are in English are for international students, and therefore some of them require tuition fee to be paid. And then the private universities in Germany also require tuition fees to be paid. And so it's not really like everything is free like that. Yes. But then you will still have some schools that teach in English that are still public universities and free tuition schools. And so those ones also exist. Yes. But in Germany, when you know their language, it helps you. And one thing with language is very essential because you may be going to Germany and you may be studying an English program, an English medium school where you are taught in English. But then you should know that as a student, you may be working while schooling and all of that. And the language in the community is something that is very important because you would basically be talking to everybody in that language. And so it is very important that even if you are in an English medium school, you try to learn the language. Even if you are in school, you could take some classes by the side and be learning the language because some jobs, you wouldn't be able to get some jobs when you are not able to speak the language because Germans are like, I always say that Germans are like Ashantis, right? They do not play with their language. You can speak all your English, but they won't speak that English with you. They would want to speak their language. And so if you are going there, it is better you try to, learn the language. You understand? Most of them can speak English. English is a universal language. Most of them can speak English as a second language. But like I said, like I compared them to Ashantis, most of them can speak English, but they wouldn't speak the English with you. They would speak their language with you. They would want you to change. And that's the same thing with Germany. And so you need to learn their language to be able to survive, even if you are in an English medium school. Yes. And we also have Australia. So Australia also has, everybody knows about Australia, high quality of life, post-study work rights and all of that. It's also flexible like Canada. You're able to become a permanent resident and all of that. And so that's also for Australia. And then you have the option of getting closer to home, right? So there are regional hubs in Ghana. There are so many universities in Ghana. We have so many Nigerians studying in at the University of Ghana, Central University, Ashesi University, KN University, and all of that. And so if you are in Kenya, you may also want to study here. There are Ghanaians who are also studying in the University of Nairobi and all the Kenya universities. And yes, and then but there are also other people who are studying in Rwanda. There's even a university in Rwanda, which is owned by a Ghanaian. Yes, and so there are other Ghanaians who are also studying there. So when you are looking at studying, it's not always about the US, the UK, the Canada, Germany, Australia, and all of that. You can also look, get closer to home and look at countries like Ghana, Rwanda, South Africa. I don't know if now when you try to market South Africa to Africans, if they will buy, but yeah, South Africa is also a good place for you to also, they have top universities, very, very good universities. In fact, top 10 in Africa. But with the current rate of go back, I don't know if uh, most Africans will want to study there. So that's the thing. So apart from South Africa, there's Ireland, there's Netherlands, there's the UAE, there's China. Yes, and so all of these are options that you could look at. China has very good scholarship, options for international students. UAE is no more just a destination for fun, for chilling and all of that. No, Dubai is gradually getting to the top when it comes to education. In fact, most of the universities in the US, UK, Canada, and all of that have campuses in Dubai. They've set up campuses in Dubai. And sometimes they do a 2+2 where you study here for maybe 2 years and then you switch and go to the UK or US or Canada, depending on the university. And because they're seeing prospects with Dubai. And so now Dubai has very good education standards. It's not just a home for chilling anymore. Yes. So now, how do you choose the right pathway? You now know all the countries you want to go. How do you choose the right pathway? So you start with undergraduate degrees, okay, which are bachelor's programs. Okay, so if you have a WASI or WAEC certificate in Nigeria, they have NECO. If you have NECO or you have WAEC or you have WASI, you can choose to study undergraduate degrees. And they could be bachelor's programs, they could be diploma, they could be certificate programs, depending on the country. If you are going to the UK, for instance, with WAEC certificates, you are going to start from a foundation year because they see our WAEC as lower. And so you don't get UK undergraduate degrees are for only 3 years, okay? But they see our WAEC as lower. So we take a foundation year first before we do the 3 years with them. And then it comes back to the 4 years we do in Ghana. That's how they do it. But if a student is coming from an IB school, okay, if a student has the International Baccalaureate certificate, which international high schools in Ghana write those exams. If a student is coming from that, when you go to the UK, you will do your bachelor's for only 3 years. But if you are a WAEC student, then you will do it for 4 years because you have to take a foundation year first before their 3 years bachelor's degree. Yeah, so it depends on the country and how the whole system goes. In Canada, they have diplomas, they have advanced diplomas. So the colleges in Canada offer diplomas for 2 years, advanced diplomas for 3 years, and then they have degrees for 4 years. And then they have certificates also for a year. So it depends on where you find yourself with the kind of certificate you hold, and then you choose the pathway you want to pursue. Now, there's also postgraduate study, where if you already have a bachelor's, then you go in for a master's and an MBA or a PhD. Yes, so depending on what certificate you hold, then you know what to go for. Okay, so the foundation and the pathway programs are mostly bridging programs. They are bridging courses. Sometimes go through that when you don't meet the requirements. Like I was saying that you need an IB to study in the UK for 3 years. And so if you don't meet the requirements and you're holding a WASI, then you do a foundation to bridge the gap to now start the actual bachelor degree. So foundations and pathways bridge the courses that lead into a full degree. And then there are diplomas and TVETs and certifications, like I told you. And these are practical, career focused and professional credentials. And so most of the certificates and diplomas and all of that are they are career focused. They train you can do welding, you can do sewing, you can do mine, whatever. They are practical. They teach you to just start life like that. It has no theoretical aspect of reading and going to core and all of that. No. If it's welding, if it is sewing, if it is fashion design, if it's whatever, those are the certificates and the diplomas that most Canadian university colleges offer. Yes, and so the difference between the colleges and the universities in Canada is the colleges are mostly they are set up to train students towards practical, career focused and professional credentials. They are not set up to take up all the theoretical aspects that you will go through in universities, where you're going to do psychology, you're going to do sociology, you're going to do maybe political science. Yes, you don't do that. They take you through practical. So if it is welding, they are teaching you how to weld. Okay, if it is sewing, they are teaching you how to sew. Yes, and if it is a culinary program, they're teaching you how to cook and all of that. And so that's what the colleges offer in Canada. And most of them don't offer degrees. It is now that they are trying to infuse degrees and all of that into it because some of the colleges are growing and they want to add other programs. But colleges are not supposed to be taking degree programs. They are just for practical career focus and professional credentials. And whilst the universities are taking actual degrees and not the career focused programs. Yes. And yes, and then apart from that, sometimes you can also have semester exchanges, summer schools, online study. These are also pathways. Um, yes, you can have summer schools. Some schools organize summer schools where you can go for a 2 week summer school. You can go for a 3 week summer school where they take you through particular program. Maybe it could be something like what we are doing. If you go learn about, you want to know about how you would study abroad and all of that. It could be teaching on this. It could be teaching on anything, fashion, music, whatever. Yeah, so summer schools are also there. And so all these are pathways that you can choose. You can even choose online study. You can be in Ghana and still be taking up studies in the UK, in the US, or wherever you want to take it. Yes. So now let me go to scholarships and funding. I think when I deal with presentations like this, I know that this is a part that people really want to hear because I mean, yes, we want to take all the programs and all of that. How much does it cost? And how are we going to get funding for the programs that we want to study? So this is a very important part of the whole thing. But what I always say is that cost should never be the reason you stop dreaming, okay? Because there is more money out there than most students realize. And so the cost shouldn't just be the reason you stop dreaming, okay? Like when I was starting, what I said, you can have zero balance account and you could still study abroad if you go through the right guidance and then you get the right help and the right information. Okay, so let's talk about scholarships and funding. So there are several ways you can fund your studies, right? If you don't have any money, you feel like, okay, me, I'm very good. I mean, I like to study. I have a first class. I have an upper. I want to study in the UK. I want to study in Germany. But there's nobody to help me out. And so, how do I get to study abroad? Yes, you are not left out. You can still find your way to study abroad. You don't need someone to help you, but you just need the right guidance, like I said. Now, these are some of the government scholarships you can have, okay, if you don't have any money to study abroad, because these scholarships even gives you monthly stipends. They even pay for your flights. They give you money for food. They give you accommodation. And so you basically contribute zero to your study goals. Yes. And so that's why I said you don't need. So we start with Chevening. I think most of you have heard about Chevening, the Chevening scholarships. The Chevening scholarship is a fully funded UK government scholarship where students enrolled for a year. You know, I told you UK masters are for a year. So they fully fund your 1 year masters in the UK. They offer your tuition fee, they offer your living allowance, and even return flights. Right? Yes. And most of the times, what people who are picked for the Chevening scholarships, the key requirements are mostly you having at least 2 years of work experience. Okay, you need to have 2 years of work experience. You need to have an undergraduate degree that allows entry to a UK master's program. It means you need to be qualified for a program. So if you had, let's say, a pass or a third class, and the school, the Chevening school, doesn't take that grade, you can't get the scholarship. Yes, and the scholarship doesn't matter if you had a first class or you had an upper. It has to do with the school you want to go to, the Chevening school. In fact, they have more than 50 schools that fall under the Chevening scholarships. And so it depends on the school you want to go and the program you want to study. and their entry requirement. If you meet their entry requirement, then you qualify for the scholarship, and you should have at least 2 years of work experience. Okay, and you apply to mostly 3 UK universities, and then they make their own. You go through interview sections and all of that, and then they make their own decisions. And this is mostly for people who are doing well in their fields. They are doing great in their fields. They are just shining in their fields. Okay, it could be in music, it could be in fashion, it could be in acting, it could be anywhere, it could be in business, and you are shining, you are doing well. Okay, then they move you to the next level. So that is what the whole Chevening scholarship is about. Fully funded government scholarship for a master's degree in the UK for a year. Everything provided for: tuition fee, living expenses, living allowance, like everything, even your return flights are paid for. And I know that the next cycle of Chevening scholarships opens, I think next week, August 4th. And so those that are interested in that, you could just Google and find out. They open from August 4th this year for the next cohort to join. And so you may want to check them out. Now, the next one is Commonwealth scholarships. I mean, when we talk about Commonwealth, I think all of you know it's basically the countries that were colonized by the UK. Although now there are about 4 or 5 countries which were not colonized by the UK who have asked to join the Commonwealth. You can do your research to find out who those countries are. But about 99% of them are countries that were colonized by the UK. And so Commonwealth scholarships also fund postgraduate academic study for citizens of developing Commonwealth countries. Okay, so they also fund master's, PhD, and all of that. And you need to be a citizen or a permanent resident of an eligible Commonwealth country. So Ghana is a Commonwealth country, and so we qualify. Kenya, Nigeria, and all of that are Commonwealth countries. Yes. And then you need to hold a first degree of at least upper class, which is 2-1, or a lower class degree, okay, to be eligible for that. Okay, yes. And so there's the Commonwealth scholarship, which is also there. And then with the Commonwealth, you need to certify your inability to afford studying in the UK without the award. So if maybe you don't have anybody to take care of you, if your parents are unemployed, you need to show proof that they are unemployed, they can't take care of you. If it just proves that you are not able to take care of your studies. That's how the Commonwealth scholarship works. Then we have DAD scholarship. I know you've also heard about the DAD scholarship. This is for Germany. And I wouldn't want to give the full meaning of that. I think you can check out what it is, but it's a German word. But that scholarship is also a fully funded program by the German government that also provides tuition fees, monthly stipends for master students. So in fact, master students, you get close to £1,000 monthly for your upkeep, and then PhD students get close to £1,300 for their upkeep. So that is also the DAD scholarship, which the German government also gives out. All you need is to have a bachelor's degree, usually within the last 6 years. It shouldn't be more than 6 years. You should have a good academic performance, and then you should have adequate language skills in English or German, depending on the program of offer. So if it is English, prove that you've written IELTS or you've written Duolingo and all of the English exams, proficiency exams. Yes, and then if it is a German course, you can go to Goethe Institute, which is at the German embassy, to also take that program and then be certified, and then you can also use that. So that is DAD scholarship. And then we also have the Fulbright scholarship. So I think you are taking notes. Chevening, Commonwealth are for the UK, DAD is for Germany, Fulbright is for the US. Okay, so Fulbright is a top US government exchange program which is offering funding for master's and then doctoral degrees. Okay, that also covers your whole tuition, living costs, even airfare. Most applicants apply through the US embassies or commissions in their home countries. It covers full tuition, monthly round trip, international airfare, everything. And you have to be a citizen of the country you'll be applying through and all of that. It goes for like the others. So Fulbright is also a US. And then we have the 𝐻𝐿𝐥 scholarship, and that is Japanese. So Chevening, UK, Commonwealth, UK, DAC, Germany, Fulbright, US, and then 𝐻𝐿𝐥 is Japanese. That's a fully funded Japanese government program, which covers tuition, travel expenses, monthly living allowance. Yes, and it's for masters and PhD and undergraduate students. Yes, so you should also check on that. You also get monthly stipends, full waiver of tuition fee, round trip airfare, everything from your home country back to Japan and then back to your home. So, like I said, you don't need, it's not just about having money to study abroad. It's just about having the right guidance and then having the right knowledge or information to be able to study abroad. And then Erasmus Mundus is a popular one, which I think most people know. So that is also for Europe. Okay, so it's Europe, and when you want to study in Europe, any of the European countries, it's also a fully funded. It's from the European Union, and so it's also a fully funded European Union scholarship for students worldwide to study joint master's degrees across multiple European countries. It also covers full tuition, travel costs, visa fees, health insurance, and a monthly stipend of 1,400 euros. So every month you get 1,400 euros. You need to hold a bachelor's degree or be in the final year of your undergraduate studies. And it's open to any nationality from any country worldwide. You need to show proof of English proficiency. So you could write IELTS and have 6.5 or higher to qualify for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. So we know about Chevening, we know about Commonwealth, we know about DAD, Fulbright, 𝐻𝐿𝐥, and then Erasmus Mundus. Yes. So apart from these things, universities also have their own scholarships, which are merit-based and need-based. Okay, so merit-based basically means that you merited it, you had a first class, or maybe whatever they are looking for, you have it. And so they give it to you. Some are also need-based. Prove to me that you are poor, and then I give you that scholarship. These are internal scholarships from universities. Apart from the government scholarship that I spoke about, these are internal scholarships. And then there are also scholarships from foundations and NGOs. So Drive to Inspire Africa can give you scholarship, full funding. Just go and study in the UK because we feel you have what it takes to study, you just don't have the funding. So foundations and NGOs are able to also give you full funding. And the popular one is the MasterCard Foundation Scholars, where you know that people get scholarships. There are also banks and corporate entities and all of that who give scholarships to students based on MTN, give scholarships and all of that. And so there are also a form of scholarship that you can look out for. There's also sponsorship and loans. Okay, your employer can decide to sponsor you to go study abroad. You can have an education loan from banks. In Canada, you can have Passage. It's an education loan to study. Passage loans are there. If you want to study in the US, also in the UK and all, you can have. I remember in the back. Yes, so there are several loans that you can go for in all of these. The only thing is that it's a loan. So when you are done with school, you need to pay, or it has its own payment terms that you can you agree to it. They give it to you every month. There's an amount of money you have to pay, and then when you are done with school, they give you a number of years to also pay. So those loans are also there, which are student loans that you can go for. UK has their own student loans. Canada has their own student loans. US have their own student loans. You can also get that for your studies. And then there's also self-funding. You don't need any of this. You have your own money. You can pay your tuition fee. and then you can add work to it. Every student in the US, UK, Canada basically works for 20 hours per week. And so that means that you're working part-time, half day. So when we go to work from 9 to 5, that's 40 hours per week. And students can't do that because they are full-time students. And so they can do 20 hours per week, which is half of the day, half of 9 to 5. Yes. And so some students are also able to work and self-fund their studies. And so the work supports them. Although, if you come for guidance from me, I usually tell you that you need, if you are funding your studies, you need support with the tuition fee. Yes, you can work and pay for your living expenses, your food, transportation, and everything. But for the tuition fee, if you get support, it will help you because you're going to really, you may be tempted to work more than 20 hours, and it will help with your progress when you want to apply for work permits and then your permanent residency and all of that, and they check and they see that you work more than 20 hours, it would go against you. Now, people ask more times, how do they get to know that I work 20 hours or more? Yes, it's because in these Western countries, when you work, you are paid through certain numbers, ID, certain things, and all of that. So you have your PIN, whatever that payments go through, and so they know how much payments you are receiving, and then how many hours of work you've done. And sometimes students try to beat the system. I'm not teaching you to beat the system, but sometimes students try to beat the system by doing what we call cash jobs. Okay, cash jobs don't go through any cent, they don't go through anything. I come here, you want me to fix your hair for you, I fix your hair, you give me cash, I go away. We do have nothing to do with the government. If you are doing construction jobs and I feel like I can carry your mortar for you, I carry you, give me your cash, I go away. The government has nothing to do with us. Yes, but official jobs, you have to be paid through your cards and all of that. And so government has records of them. So unless you're doing cash jobs, you need to make sure you maintain your 20 hours per week job schedules as a student. Yes, and then I think the last one for the funding is assistantships abroad. So you also have you have the chance to become a graduate assistant, fully funded postgraduate programs that will cover your tuition fee and stipends. Okay, so most of the times, if you want to go through that section, then you need to identify when you're applying for the application, when you're putting the application, you need to identify a supervisor. A professor has to accept you as a graduate assistant and recommend you for the funding. Okay, this guy, I like him. I think his research focus is also my focus. I would want him to be my assistant and help with my research. And so I'm recommending him for graduate funding. And then you are given the funding, which may cover your total tuition fee. And then you would even get stipends. And so that form of application, before you put in the application, you need to first reach out to a professor who has the funding, who will agree to be your supervisor before you even go and put in the application. And so when the person agrees, when you are putting the application, they ask you who is the supervisor, you put that person's name in. So that is the person that will now act on your behalf. Tell the school that I need this person, and so we are being recommended for funding. So that is also a form of getting full scholarship if you don't meet any of these types of funding or scholarships. All right, so let me also talk about how to win scholarships. Like I told you, you need to start early. So track deadlines. Like I told you about the 𝐬𝐨𝐜𝐿𝐼 scholarship starting, I think, August 4th or something. So track deadlines, research on them, know when they start, know their requirements and everything. Start 12 to 8 months in advance. You don't wait 1 day, 2 days, because you may not know their requirements. And so start early, track deadlines 12 to 8 months in advance. Then match your profile to each scholarship's requirement, right? Yes. So if a scholarship is looking for people who have 3 years job experience and you feel like you have that, that is what you go to apply for. So match your profile to the scholarship's mission. Okay, yes. And then like I told you about the 𝐬𝐶𝐿𝐼, you could be coming from, if you are doing something great in your area, in your and in the form of whatever you're doing, you can qualify for that. There's this guy who was part of the acting, I think YOLO or something, they call him Chief. He has gotten Chevening scholarship because of coming from that side, because he was doing well in his side as an actor. And so he studied in the UK for a year, he's done now. Yes. So it depends on where you're coming from or what you're doing. Just prove to them. It could be in business. You could have started your own business and you're doing well in it. Show it, and then they would consider you for that scholarship. Now, tell a compelling, specific personal story. You get it? Tell that. Let them know your story, like what I'm telling, what you are doing in your field. Tell it. Specific personal story, and they will buy it. Okay. Now, when it comes to referees, when you are putting in the applications, you are going to be required to provide references from school. So when you are in school, you need to make sure that at least you have some one or two lectures that you are okay with in terms of acting as your referees and all of that. Although they are required to provide you references when you need them because they taught you, but some of them, they know they are supposed to do it, but they will just stress your life for you if they know you don't know them or you were never in their class or whatever. So whilst in school, you try to um, be close to some of them for these things because you need strong referees who know your work. Yes, to give you references. And so that is also important for winning a scholarship. And then you show leadership, impact, and clear goals, right? In your statement of purpose, personal statements that you write for scholarship, show leadership. Take it as your own. You don't let it reflect your life. Just show clear goals. What do you want to achieve in future? Why you want to study that particular program? Show everything. Let it be clear. And that is how you win a scholarship. And then apply widely. Treat this as a numbers game. Don't just stick to one. I applied for Chevening, I'm sitting there, I'm waiting. No. If you know you don't have the funds, I mean, I, I don't want to say that a poor man has no option. You don't have a choice. You understand? If you know you don't have the funds, and why do you just sit down and apply for just one and just be like, this is the only thing I need? You understand? You just need to have clear goals, apply to different forms of scholarships. You could be doing government scholarships, you could still be doing university scholarships, you could still be doing foundations, NGO scholarships, you could still be doing graduate assistantships. Just put them out there. It's numbers. If you get all of them, hallelujah, you choose one. At least if you get one of them, that's also a plus. You just go to that. So apply widely, treat it as a numbers game. Don't just go for one. And when you don't get it, you need to wait for another year of your life to now apply again. All right. So now the next is the actual application. I don't know. How much time do I have?
Shadrack, please go on. Okay.
Okay. All right.
That it's been very revealing and interesting. Please carry
Okay.
on.
All right. All right. I just want to be sure I'm not taking the whole time. All right. Let me go ahead then. So the next is the actual application and admission process. So now we've spoken about the whole, um, scholarships and everything. Now you're going to put in the application. How do you go about the whole application and how to get admission and all of that? So, um, what I always say is that great applications are built, they are not rushed. Okay. So take your time, have enough time for this whole thing. It should be planned, it shouldn't be rushed. And then you put in the right application. And so let's go and see how the applications are actually supposed to go. So, like the time frame I gave you, you explore and then you shortlist. Okay, the ones you feel you qualify for, you explore, you shortlist them. This can be done a year in advance, 12 to 18 months, a year and a half, a year in advance. And then if you are required to have any test, like English proficiency, like IELTS, like TOEFL, like SAT, like GRE, some schools, especially the ones that give graduate assistantships, some of them require you to be having GRE. And the professors will want to see your GRE grades because GRE basically has to be I mean, the overall standard, that's an international exam. So it's an overall standard for the students that are applying. So if you are coming from Nigeria, if you are coming from Ghana, that standard will give you a universal standard. So some schools will require you to have a GRA to be able to achieve that form of scholarship. And so sit the required test if you need to boost your chances of getting that particular scholarship. So you can do the IELTS, TOEFL, SAT, or GRE. And then prepare documents. Your transcripts are needed from high school. Some people don't even know high schools have transcripts. And when you tell them go for your high school transcript, they'll be like, do we have anything like that? Yes, we do. High schools have transcripts. When you go to your school, they are sitting there because people don't take it. They are sitting there. But if you want to study abroad, you need a transcript, especially if you are going to do a program that requires your WASI and doesn't require maybe your bachelor's and all of that. The program is low and requires only WASI. They may look at your transcript. And so high schools have transcripts, the cumulative records they take, they put it together. So when you go, you're going to see your Form 1 results, your Form 2, your Form 3, and the final WAEC. Just like the university where you see your first year, second year, level 100, 200, 300, and all of that. High schools also have transcripts. So take your transcript, your statement of purposes, SOPs should be good, very good. If you do it and you need somebody to proofread or go over, you can do that. It's very important because it helps with, getting to know your clear goals and why you want to study that program. Because we may all have studied psychology and we're applying for clinical psychology, but the only difference is the SOP that I submit. So we can have thousands of first classes certificates sitting there, but what differentiates between the two of us is the SOPs that you will submit, show your clear goals, what you want to achieve in life, and then you can win that. And the next thing is your references. I told you, if you are fighting with all your lectures, there's nobody to give you reference. And so when you feel like you go to, I won't go for my class, and then I will, when I'm done with school, I'm done with you. No, you are not done with him. You will come back to him. And so whatever you are doing in school, just know that you will go back for reference. Some lecturers are okay. They will just give their secretaries a template. When you come, they put your name on it. So they don't care if you contributed or you didn't contribute in class. But some lecturers are that I don't know if I should use petty, but they can hold on to grudges. And remember 4 years ago when I asked you a question in class, you didn't answer or you worked out or whatever, and they wouldn't give you proper references. And references are very important for your admission and for your, especially for funding and scholarships. And then after you prepare all these documents, then you can submit, you can apply the program and the scholarships that you are looking for. And you don't also apply to just one school. Like I said, you apply to multiple schools. And then when the offers come, you can compare and then you commit. Even in US, you can even get 20 I-20s. And then you now choose the school you want, and then you go apply for your visa. So you can have several offers. You don't need to stick to only one. You compare and then you commit to one. You can only go with one, but you can apply for several of them. Yes. And then the next thing after the offers are in is your visa process and then your departure. So you need to show proof of funds. If you are getting full scholarships, scholarships are going to give you letters for the scholarships and all of that. And flight bookings, arrival, if you have to book accommodation. In fact, with admission, what we mostly do is our students, because we have lots of students, we have close to 1,000 students all over in the US, UK, and the like. So what we do, we link you to some of our already enrolled students. And so when you are going, a student can pick you up from the airport. What someone did for you, you also do for someone when it's the person's time. So it's like a community where you do that. So if you also have friends, they can help you secure accommodations for you before you come there. Or they can pick you up from the airport and help you settle in well. It's not necessarily about having traveled before. You don't need to travel before to be able to study abroad or to be able to go, and everything will be smooth when you put the right things in place. So your friends can pick you up from the airport. They are in an era of Uber. You can book Uber. You can book Airbnb. You go, you settle, and then you go back to your campus, meet people, ask them for whatever you need, Then you can now go find a proper accommodation. If you want, you can have a temporary one, Airbnb, hotel, whatever. And then you can now go for all of that. So, like I said, it's just the information and the knowledge you need, not the money. You can be holding money and you wouldn't know what to use it for. So these are the documents you will need when putting in the application. Yes, so your academic record, I spoke about your transcript and certificates. Sometimes they need to be certified. Most of the European countries, sometimes they want you to take them through Ministry of Foreign Affairs and all of that to certify them. Some of them would also want you to take it to the actual embassies and translate them into their language. And so all of them, you need to know what has to be done for the particular country you want to study. Yes, so transcripts and certificates are needed. The English test course, like I told you, IELTS, Admission World is a center for IELTS. If you want to write IELTS, you can write with us. We are certified by the British Council to write IELTS, and so we can train you, and then you go write your IELTS. You can also write it at the British Council. TOEFL, PT, Duolingo, and all of that can be written online, so that can also be done. If you need to achieve any of them, if your school requires an English proficiency, you can do that. And then your statement of purpose, like I said, that's your motivation, the fits, the goals, everything you want to achieve with the program you want to offer. So it basically should include all of them, where you're coming from, what you want to achieve with the program, and why you should be considered for that particular program. So that's what the statement of purpose is basically about. And then the recommendation letters, you mostly need 2 to 3 strong referees, 2 to 3. And it is either your referee is giving you a hard copy reference, or the school will send a link for your referees to respond on your behalf. So they send it direct to them. Now they like that, the lecturers like that, especially because if they want to write something back, it's not like you get to see it. Yeah, so they don't even like to be giving you hard copies and all of that, because whatever I give you is for you to see what I wrote for you. But when the school send them link to fill for you, that's where they can write whatever they want to write for you. So recommendation letters are also very important. And then you need a CV or a resume. So your achievements, your work, portfolio, everything should show in your CV. If it's a European school like Erasmus Mundus and all of that scholarships, you need a Europass CV. And so you should know the format and how to do it. And your CV should basically have your residential address, your phone number, your email address. It should have your education history. It should have your career history, references, and all of that. And so your CV should cover everything. And you don't leave spaces. Don't leave spaces. Okay. If you completed school in 2023 and then you write 2023 to 2025, I was doing this. And then 2027, you jump and go to 2027. So between 2025 and 2027, what were you doing at that period? Your CV has to cover every period. So if at that time you were doing an internship, show it. Don't think that this was some small company I was working with. It's not important. I shouldn't show it. No, you need to show it. Yes. But just take into, just note that whatever you put on your CV, you should be able to defend it when you are called upon to defend. And so if you say I worked at Shell, or I worked at 𝐿𝐸, or I worked at Puma Oil, and you don't have any certificate, then maybe you should be able to put something you can prove, because we don't just say I did this when I don't have anything to prove. Yes, so make sure that whatever you put on your CV, you should be able to prove. Sometimes I take students' CVs and they have so many certifications on them. You ask them to bring the certificates and they don't have them. If you can't provide it, it shouldn't be there, because anything you can't provide is not you. If you can't show it, it didn't exist. That's the thing. That's the thing with visas and all of that. We don't do oral history or word of mouth when you are dealing with visas and admissions and all of that. Everything you say, you should be able to prove it. If you can't prove it, it shouldn't be there in the first place. And so, yes, that's how your CV is supposed to go. And then the next thing is your passport, and then your finances. You need to have a passport. Yes, you can't say you want to study abroad when you don't have a passport. So if you don't have a passport today, you go and get one. That's the most important document to have to be able to study abroad. So you need your passport, and then proof of funds. If you are funding yourself, your parents are funding you, you need bank statement from your parents. You need to show relationship between the two of you, birth certificates and all of that. You need to have a sponsorship letter from your parents. And anything that shows that, yes, these are my parents and they want to sponsor me. Where your parents' funds are coming from, you should also show it. Their source of funding, what jobs they do to get the money in the accounts, you need to show it. If you have lump sum deposits, your parents' accounts were there and then suddenly 200,000 came into the account and you printed it out, you need to prove where the funds came from. So lump sum deposits are also not needed for visa applications unless the requirement for that particular country is you having that. If you are going to China and you do lump sum deposit, they don't care. If you are going to the UK and you do lump sum deposits for student visas, they don't care. The money just has to be there for 28 days. If you are going to Canada, you do lump sum deposit, they will deny you. So know the country and what is required. Yes. Now let's see the common mistakes to avoid. Okay. So leaving everything to the last minute. What you should rather do is build an 18-month timeline and then you work towards that. Okay. One other common mistake is applying to only one school or country. No, shortlist 5 to 8 options across few countries. Okay. Then another mistake is you having generic copy paste personal statement. Your brother studied in the UK 10 years ago. You look for his document and then you go and find his personal statement. Okay, you study psychology. I'm also going to study psychology. So this is the same personal statement I'm submitting. No, you are two different beings. You have different, you've gone through different cycles in life. You are not the same. So there is nothing like generic copy paste personal statement. Let it be something that is it has your clear goals and it's customized to your own life, your own taste. It shouldn't be something that you find online and you copy and paste. And it shouldn't just be AI generated. In this era of AI, it shouldn't just be AI generated because it would know this is, everybody will generate the same thing and submit. So it will just basically be the same thing. So tailor every statement to the program. Yes, you don't go and take a chemical engineering personal statement and then go and use it for maybe biomedical engineering. No. So tailor every statement to the program that you are looking to offer. And then ignoring the true cost until later. Know how much tuition fee is to be paid when you get the offer and all of that. It should reflect what you knew. So don't ignore, don't think that yesterday was 18,000. So something is going to happen to the world. And so by the time my offer comes, it would have gone to zero. No, it will never happen. So don't ignore the fact that anything will change. So know the true cost and budget that total cost. Okay. And I mean, do them early and make sure that you know what you're doing. And then falling for agent or scholarship scams. Yes. So people just anywhere sitting at their homes, I can help you apply. I'm an agent. I'm this. No. You need to use accredited, transparent advisors if you need somebody to help you out. Admission World, we are certified ICEF agents. And so we are part of the international body for educational consultants. And so if somebody is part, we are also British Council certified. If somebody is part of these organizations, it means that you have code of ethics. You have a way of conducting yourself. And so you can't just take anybody's money and run away and think that that's okay. There's always a way to find you. There's always a way to lose your accreditation and everything. And so look out for accredited, transparent advisors. Transparent in the sense that know every payment you are supposed to make at the start of the whole thing. No hidden charges. I forgot to tell you that you are supposed to pay to 20,000 when the offer comes. No. Whatever you start, that's how it's supposed to end. So deal with transparent advisors. They let you know everything from A to Z. Those are the kind of people you deal with. All right. So Now we are done with the whole thing. You have your offer, right? You are in the UK or you are in Canada or you are in Japan. Now, what are the return on investment? You've graduated. So a degree abroad is an investment. So how do you turn it into a real career and then your life returns? Somebody may be working and he stopped and went to school. So now, after your degree, what next? How is this important to your life? Okay, so your return on investment is the fact that you have global career access. If you study in the UK, a chance that you can get a UK company to work with, a chance that you can get a German company to work with, a chance that you can get you have global career access. You have access to any of these because these are countries that their levels of education are accepted worldwide. And so you have the chance to have a global career. The people who are sitting in your class, some of them are aiming, some of them are Canadians, some of them are Americans. They are aiming to become the president. They are aiming to become managers. They are aiming to start businesses. Those are the people you are sitting in class with. And so you can also be like them. You can also aim to start your own business. You can also aim to be the boss of Microsoft. You can also aim to work with Amazon. You can also aim, and we should stop thinking that Africans are always for PSW and all of that. Everybody wants to do personal support work, go and work with other people. No, I'm not saying it's bad. But what I'm saying is that we should always aim higher. The people you are there in school with, those are the next generation of that country. And so whatever they can do, you can also do it. Okay. And so we should also aim towards UK. If you are able to start your own business there, they give you funding as an international student. They are able to give you funding when you apply for it. And so we should always stop looking down ourselves as Africans that we can't get to where Kofi Annan got to, or we can't get to where all the big people get to. We can always do that because we are studying with them. Whatever they are learning is what we are learning. And so we should always also try to aim higher and try to compete with them. That's the whole thing with you studying abroad. Yes, you have the degree that they have to compete with them. And then there's also post-study work routes. Like I was telling you, when you're done, you can have well-paid jobs in those countries by taking your graduate route visas, the Canada PGWP, US OPT, and the others. You work, if you study in Europe, it's the same thing. You get 20 hours per week. It's only US that when you are studying, you are not able, your 20 hours per week is on campus, not off campus. So yes, in US, just that there are some career programs that you can do CPT, but for the OPT and all of that, if you are on 20 hours per week as a student, US, if you work outside campus, that's a crime, it's illegal for your student visa. So any student in the US is supposed to work on campus. If you don't get a job on your campus, you are sleeping. That's it. So there's when you're done with school, there's all these routes that can help you integrate into the community and also get top salaries and all of that. And then higher earning power, like what I said, stronger salaries and faster progression over time. And so that's also very important. Then you have the chance to stay, to return, or to go global. You can bring your skills down to Ghana, like Kwame Nkrumah brought his skills down to Ghana to get independence for us. Mm-hmm. Or you may keep your skills there, like Jeremy Doku is keeping his skills for Belgium in the national team. You understand? Or you just, whatever. I mean, you have the chance to do what you want because you are at that level that you can do whatever you want. If you feel like you need to come down to Ghana, which we would want you to, because we are basically helping you because we want you to come help us in the future, help our country grow. We want you to compete with the best, to have the best mindset to help Africa. That's why you're going in the first place. So for me, I would advise that you come back, but it all depends on you. So you have the chance to stay and fight to become whatever. Some blacks are now in MP positions and all of that. doing reforms and all of that. So you have the chance to do that or return and help us. Yes. So these are all, the careers and then return on investment. Yes. So let me end by saying talking a little bit about what we do at Admission World Consult, how we can help you. Okay, so we can help with school and program matching. Okay, our options are aligned to your goals and budget. We look at your budget, your goals, and then we match you with the right schools. We are also able to help with your application and then scholarships if we have to. And we can also help with your essay and statement coaching. Okay, we craft a story that stands out for you. And then we're also able to help with test prep guidance. Like I told you, we are a center for IELTS. And so we're also able to help you write your IELTS exams. And so, yes, we are also able to do that. And then visa and pre-departure, we are also able to help with the visa documentation and take you through the whole visa process, apply on your behalf. If you have to go through interviews, we take you through interviews, US interview appointments, we take you through them. UK credibility interviews, we guide you the kind of questions you're going to be asked, how to answer those questions, how to, your demeanor, everything. We coach you, we take you through all of that. And then we have on ground presence in Ghana, in Nigeria, and in Kenya. And so if you need to deal with us, that is who we are. So I don't know how much time I used, but we've finally come to the end of our webinar for today. And I want to thank everybody for the time. I hope it was exciting. And so it's time for questions. And so we can talk. I'm open for questions that you may have. And so I think I will hand over to the moderator to now take over how the questions are going to go, if it has to just start or if you have anything to say.
Essentially so, Mr. Shadrack Otchere, thank you so much for such an inspiring information. You've educated us, you've informed us, and you've inspired us at the same time. We want to appreciate you for this opportunity. And ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for questions. Okay, so you can send your questions in the chat box and we'll ask them for you. But before I go to the questions that will be coming, I also have my own questions. Maybe I would like to start from your last slide, how you can also help.
Okay.
We have you made mention that you are in Nigeria, you are in Ghana, and Kenya as well. What about those in Malawi, Botswana who are joining us and want your services? How do they get to you?
Okay. All right. So there's one thing about us. So with studying abroad, you don't actually need a physical presence in the country to be able to help. Okay. In fact, we apply for people in Dubai. We apply for people in Pakistan, but we don't have offices there because we are able to submit all applications online. If we have to book an appointment in your country for you, we can do that. So if you are in Malawi, and then let's say you want to study in Canada. Canada visa process is basically online. IRCC will take all your documents online. You are going to scan all your documents. For me, I don't need the hard copies, and I don't need your physical presence at the office. We can have interviews to train you. We can have mock. Our staff organizes mock interviews to train you and all of that. And then we submit the application on your behalf. You're going to get emails. When it's time for the visa, we send you an email with every document you need to gather. And then during the application, we apply, book an appointment for you in your home country to attend. And so those in those countries, they are fine to deal with us. We can help them. Yes, they are fine to deal with us. In fact, the countries that we have representation is because we also have a different section of our job, which is called Admission World First. We organize education first. We bring down institutions from UK, Canada, and the likes for students to come and meet them and then ask all their questions for free. Ask all their questions, whatever. And we usually have these first in Ghana, Kenya, and Nigeria. And so we need representation there. But for applications, we can handle every country on this planet.
Wow, that's very exciting.
Yeah,
Olivia says we really appreciate this knowledge very much. Thank you. God bless you for sharing.
you're welcome.
Um, Rich Love says, please, with a statement of purpose, can you also talk about your personal goals, even though your essay has to tailor with what you're applying for? So that's a question. Should you talk about your personal goals, even though you are supposed to tailor your statement of purpose to that which you're applying for?
Yes, so what I usually tell students is that, you need to first follow the instructions that has been given to you. There are some schools that are specific with what they need in your SOP. Okay, some of them can tell you that one, talk about yourself. Two, talk about your career progression. Maybe three, talk about your career track, whatever. So always look at what is being required of you and you go there. Okay. If the SOP is asking you to be straightforward, then you don't need to talk about your personal goals. But what I know is personal goals will always come in at the end because it has to do with you. And so personal goals could be your educational history, could be your job history. It could be anything that relates to you, coming down to the fact that this is what you want to achieve. And so I think they always come into play, but always follow instructions with what is required from the school.
Okay. I think Gamita is asking, if I apply for a scholarship and then I get a job after school in that country, do I apply again for the work visa and all the legal documents?
If you get a
So
job,
yes, she
oh,
wants to know after work,
mhm,
after school, and she
mhm,
gets a job,
yeah,
would she go through all the necessary legal requirements to be able to work there?
okay. So one thing is, so first and foremost, you are in someone's country, okay? You cannot school or work or do anything without legal documents. So if you are in school, you are in school there because you have a legal document called student visa. That's why you are in school there. When you are done with school and you want to work, you need a legal document called work permit or work visa. So the fact that you are in someone's country is basically telling you that everything you want to do there, you need the right document to be able to do it. That is why if you are on a visit visa, you are not allowed to work because that is not a legal document for work. So when you are done with school and you want to work, you apply for work visa. You don't wait for your student visa to expire before. Don't wait for any visa to expire before you apply for the next visa. Immediately you're out of status, you need to go back to your country. And so if it is 3 months, 6 months to expiry, you can put in the next visa. You don't wait for it to expire. Unless maybe you applied in advance and it's delayed. That's one. If any immigration officer or if any police officer finds you, and he sees the letter that you've applied, you are just waiting. There's nothing wrong with that. You can stay out of status knowing that you've applied. Yes. So I don't know if I answered the question, but if you are done with school, you are going to apply for a work permit. That is what the UK is graduate route visa. That's a work permit. Canada is PGWP, postgraduate work permit. When you are done with school, that's what you apply for. And all these people are applying for that, whether they found a job or they've not found a job. You need to apply for that if you want to stay. Then when you get that permit, you now look for a job because you now have a legal document to work. And so you now look for a job with that because your employer is going to look at that before he gives you the job.
So essentially, we shouldn't overstay or we shouldn't cut corners.
Yes, essentially, if you really want to achieve all the goals, the reason for going there, overstaying will lead you into trouble. So if your visa is expiring, just extend it or find a different route. If you don't want to study and you want to work, apply for a work visa. If you feel you are not, your visa is expiring and then you don't have a job, and you still want to extend, apply for a visit visa. Whilst you go ahead to do the other visas, you just need a document, a legal stay in that country. If you overstay, the next processes of your life, you are going to suffer because they are going to deny you when you apply.
Awesome. Gamita again is saying, thank you so much for the very insightful webinar. Sarah also wants to know, she's saying that thank you so much. Please, how much will it cost for your assistance for application to admission for a school in Germany?
Okay, I would only say that
Is your assistance for free?
yeah, sometimes it's not. So it depends on your situation. So just send us an email. We would tailor the whole thing towards your needs, and then we will let you know. There are some schools, in fact, we have schools like MBCC. There are some schools that if you want to apply to them, you can apply directly. There are some Canadian schools that we've given the full right for recruitment. If you want to right now go to their website, like New Brunswick Community College, I want to go and study there. If you go to their website and you want to put in the application yourself, they will tell you that go to Admission Ward or go to one of our recruitment partners. They will apply on your behalf. We don't take direct applications. We have those kind of exclusivity. Okay. So if you come to us with schools like that, because the schools already have acquired our services, they pay us for that. We will charge you nothing when we put in the application, zero. But if, let's say, you need us to assist you with the visa application, obviously we are a for-profit. We are actually not trying to inspire. We are a for-profit business, so we may want to take something small.
Okay, Maridia says, thank you, sir, for the insightful presentation. Please, are there scholarships available for students who want to study translation in Arabic?
Okay, translation in Arabic. Yeah, I
Yes.
think there should be. But one thing is, like I was saying, that there could even be NGOs into languages that sponsor students like that. Okay, so it's not always about, sometimes it's the government. Maybe you want to study translations in Arabic. You may not get scholarship in the UK or US or Canada because it's not really an Arabic country. But you could also get it in a country, maybe Dubai, maybe Saudi Arabia. You could get it in a different country that believes in that believes in promoting. You can get scholarship to go and study Chinese because they want people to learn their language. So I think it depends on the country you look at. I haven't really dealt with scholarship for Arabic, but I believe that if you do your searches, you would find an organization, an NGO, a corporate organization, or even a government scholarship for that, or a particular school that gives scholarship for Arabic translation. That's possible.
Awesome. I think I would agree with you. I think in 2017 I also had a scholarship to China, and I was supposed to learn Chinese for a year, but I was scared. I was like, "Hey, how do I go and speak 𝐿𝐸𝐴𝐿?
Yes, you know.
If I'd had this kind of information, it would have been easier for me then."
Yeah,
Thank you so
yeah.
much.
You're
Joshua
welcome.
wants to understand this. He said, I understand that GRE is not considered a strong predictor of a person's ability to succeed in graduate school. Are there alternative admission pathways or assessment options for applicants who are not yet ready to take the GRE?
Okay. Alternative for exceeding in school. What
Exactly.
was that?
If you don't want to write the test scores, how well
No, I
can
want the
you?
exact thing. He said GRE is not
He
read
said,
the exact.
I understand that
Mm-hmm.
GRE is
Mm-hmm.
it's not considered a strong predictor of a person's ability to succeed in graduate school.
That's fine.
Are
A
there
strong predictor.
alternative admission pathways or assessment options for applicants who are not ready who are not yet ready to take GRE.
Okay,
Essentially, I'm not ready to take GRE. I don't have the money
yeah,
to take GRE.
yeah.
Can I navigate that environment and just get scholarship?
Yes, you can always get admissions without GRE. You can have admissions in thousands of schools without GRE. Now, with that line, he said predicting a person's abilities to succeed in graduate school. That was what I was looking at. In fact, nothing predicts a person's ability to succeed. You understand? Having GRE doesn't mean you succeed. Having a first class doesn't mean you succeed. Having a third class also doesn't mean you succeed. You understand? GRE only comes in as a requirement for whatever you are looking for. There are schools, especially some US schools, when you want to get admission with them, their requirement is GRE. You get it? So GRE is only a required document. It has nothing to do with your life and succeeding in life. You get it? So if you are going to a school and the school doesn't require GRE, you don't need to write GRE. GRE is just like writing any of the IELTS and all of that. It's just a standardized test. It's a test to set standards for the number of applications I'm getting. Now I'm getting applications from Kenya, from Ghana, from this. So now let me give them an international test, which is GRE. And then when all of them write, that is the same questions they are writing, or that is a standard exam. Then I can differentiate between the first class in Kenya and the first class in Ghana and the first class in Ethiopia. So GRE is only a standardized test. And if you don't want to write it, it won't change anything in your study abroad journey. But if you are looking for a certain form of graduate assistantship from certain schools, GRE may be a requirement. You get it? So what you need to know is look for what you are looking for. If you are looking for scholarship in maybe University of Texas, and then University of Texas requires GRE, then you need to go and write GRE. Or look for other options that do not require GRE that are similar to whatever you were looking for at University of Texas, and then forgo the GRE. So I won't advise that you should write GRE or not, but I can only say that look at what you are looking for and advise yourself. If you feel the school is looking for GRE and you really want to get to that school or get whatever offerings they have, then go write GRE. If not, even IELTS and all of that, TOEFL and SAT and all of that, is not any compulsory aspect of your educational whatever. You can get thousands of schools without writing IELTS. You can get thousands of schools without writing TOEFL. In fact, so many countries have waived English proficiency for Ghana because our medium of instruction in schools is English. So many schools have waived that. So if you don't want to write IELTS, fine. But if you are coming from some countries like China, countries that do not speak English, it's not their language, then you have to come with IELTS. It's compulsory for them. But Ghana, we have the option of having it or not having it based on the school's requirement. The same thing with GRE. So the fact that it's not compulsory in our country means that you have the option to write it or not. So that's how it is.
Priscilla says, thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. I would like to know the chances and opportunities available for someone with a diploma in midwifery and a good academic record in studying BSc midwifery in UK.
In UK.
Yes.
Okay, so let me understand. The person has a diploma in midwifery.
A diploma in midwifery.
And has studied and has advanced to a bachelor's, or he's now looking to.
No, she has a very good academic record in her diploma, and she wants a bachelor's degree in midwifery in UK. Is there a possibility?
Okay. Yes, very. There is. So UK is a good country for you because UK does top-ups. They are able to have top-ups for you. So you can go for a program within midwifery. That's a top-up to your diploma. So you go and do it for 2 years or 3 years. Mostly 2 years. So yes, you can. And the only thing is that sometimes some people think midwifery is nursing. They are two different things. And so if there are so many schools that if you are coming from midwifery and you want to study nursing, they won't let you study because they are two different fields. Nursing is nursing, midwifery is midwifery. Because midwifery has specific role with all their reproductions and childbirth and all of that is different. And normal nurses can't help people who want to give birth. And so when you want to switch into nursing, that's where sometimes it becomes a little bit difficult. Some schools are very strict and they know that what you learn from midwifery cannot be applied in nursing. So sometimes they don't get nursing. But some schools are flexible, they can take you. But if you want to still follow your midwifery route, then it's easy to get another program in midwifery. Unless maybe you want to switch to nursing, that's where sometimes you may get a little bit of complications.
Okay. Samuel says, what do you suggest as the best time to apply given the time of 12 to 18 months timeline? Is it now? Is it now in the third year in undergraduate study, or start preparation and apply once a person graduates, given the fact that these scholarships are very competitive? So I think
Yes,
he's in his third year
third year.
in uni and want to
Yes.
know when will be the best to apply, especially when you want to
Okay.
do
Okay.
maybe a postgraduate degree
Okay.
after.
Okay. Okay. So that's a good question. In fact, the timelines I gave was basically for preparations. Okay. Because even the 18 months, most schools wouldn't have opened their portal for you to be able to apply in advance. Okay. It depends on the school. Some schools have um, very fast. They have good numbers. They open today, like the school I mentioned, the MBCC, that I told you we have exclusive partnership. They open today, and then in 3 days' time, their personal support worker program is full because their tuition fee is very low. It's like 5,000 Canadian dollars, and so you have all Africans going for that school. So it depends on the school. So right now, they are recruiting for September 2027 students now, not not September this year, not January next year, not May next year, but September 2027, and it's already closed. So it depends on the school you want to apply. But the 18 months, the 12 to 18 months I gave you is a timeline to start. I mean, your research is like everything you need to know about what you want. So whilst you are in level 300, this is a very good time to now look for what you want and look at the timelines. So yes, they are very competitive, but some of them requires you to have your full transcript. They require you to have your full certificates issued. And so when you don't even have them, you can't even apply. So what I would say is you start your research now. So joining a webinar like this would be very helpful for you. So start now, look at all the options you have, and then look at their requirements. Okay, if it is telling you that, I think I told you one, was it the dad, if you are in your final year of undergrad studies or something, you can apply. Some of them, if you are in your final year, you can apply. So look for
Okay.
specific ones like that, and then you can apply. But the ones that require you to have your full transcript and certificate, then you need to complete your studies first. Other than that, you can't. So what you can do is to be prepared in advance. So immediately you have your certificates, you know what you are going for, and you will get every document in place before they open the portal for you to apply. So that's what you do.
Okay, so the questions are many. So we'll just do the last two, and I'll ask my final question. Then
Okay.
we call it a day. Sarah wants to know. He said, please, I want to know when to apply for scholarship. Is it before application or after admission?
Okay. So it's two things. Okay. Like I just told the last person, some scholarships, you need to get admission first. And some scholarships, the application is part of the whole scholarship process. Okay. If you want to get, let's say, Ghana scholarship, scholarship secretariat, and the Get Fund scholarship, you need to have gotten admission first. You come and show your admission that this is my tuition fee, $30,000. I can pay. And then they will issue a letter and tell the school that we are taking care of the 30,000, we are adding this living expense or whatever. That one you already have applied and have your admission before you take it to them, and they now help you. And there are ones that the scholarship is part of the whole application, like the Chevening, like the Erasmus Mundus, and all of that. It's part of the whole thing. When you apply, you put in the application, and you get the admission, then the scholarship is added to the admission. So what you have to do is to check what type of scholarship you need and the requirements, and then you go for it.
Okay. So Rich Love says, please, if you are a second year student, can you still apply for undergraduate scholarship to continue studying and working part-time at international university?
Yes, you can apply, but it depends on the scholarship. If it accepts transfers, this is called transfer student. So you are in level 200 and you want to transfer to level 300. Maybe you are doing mechanical engineering, and then you are in level 200. You want to transfer to maybe Oxford University and further with the mechanical engineering in level 300. You can do that, and depending on the kind of scholarship and the requirement. If the scholarship accepts transfer students, then you can get scholarship. If it doesn't accept, then you won't get it. But it is possible to transfer your credit. Most of the times, what you do with those transfers is you have a WS evaluation, because they need to put your grades in your former school into standardized grades. It has to meet a universal standard. Then the school you are transferring to will now see that your grades are my standard, so I can take you at level 300. Other than that, you can transfer from level 200 and they can even take you back to level 100 as a first student. And so it depends on the grades you are making. And then we do your WES evaluation. And then the school transfer is very possible. You can leave level 200 or 300 and go study abroad. It's possible. Yes. But the scholarship has to be one that considers transfer students.
I think some universities also have this collaboration with other universities.
Yes, for transfers. Yes,
Exactly.
exchange programs. Yeah, exchange programs.
Exactly.
Yes, so there are two different things. So exchange programs are different from transfers in the sense that transfers, you are not going back to your home school. So let's say you were at the University of Ghana and you transferred to, let's say, Cambridge University. You are not coming back to University of Ghana. You've moved from University of Ghana. You're going to be certified by Cambridge University. But exchange programs, you are at University of Ghana. It's just like what this guy, Otchere FIFA, I don't know if, okay, I'm on an international platform, so they may not know him. He was at GEMPA, and then he went to do an exchange program with a partner school of GEMPA. So you go and spend maybe a 1 semester there or a 1 year there as part of your program that you're having in Ghana. Then you come back, the certification is going to be given to you by your Ghanaian university. So that one you've not left. You just did an exchange program. Some of their students can come and study our culture and go back as part of their course. So that's an exchange program. But for transfer, you are leaving. It's like I'm at Opoku-Ware and I'm transferring to Prempeh College. I have nothing to do with Opoku-Ware again. I'm now a student of Prempeh College. I'm going to be certified by Prempeh College.
Essentially so. Thank you so much. I think my concern will be about, you made mention of writing a compelling story.
Yeah.
Usually, what do these admission committee want to see to make it a compelling story to them?
Okay, so like I always say, it's always tailored towards the requirement of the particular scholarship or committee. Okay, like the Chevening scholarship, they want to see your achievements as a young graduate. So if you are able to let them know what you've achieved as a young graduate, a compelling story, you started from here, you got here, you are now this person, and you need a further push to become this person. That kind of scholarship needs that kind of compelling story. But there are some scholarships that do not need that. They have their specifics, what you have to follow, and that's what you do. Yes. So I always say that read the room, just know what the requirements of the particular scholarship is, and then you go by it. Like I mean, I think one person asked that same the question about if you should bring personal goals into the write-up, and I was telling the person that it depends on the requirement of the write-up. That's why you should always have the information, what you need to put into it, then you put in it. So like Chevening, yes, compelling story, perfect. But other ones, no, they don't need stories. You just have to take the boxes they are giving you. You have a first class, you have it. Take. Do you have 2 years of work experience? I do. Take. Are your parents poor? Yes, they are. Take. Show us proof. Yes, take. Like they have certain um rules and guidelines you need to follow. So it depends on the scholarship and what they are looking for.
Excellent. The last question. Sometimes you
Mhm.
might have tried, you gain
Yeah.
admission, you went to the embassy, and
Hmm.
they
You got
refused
refused. Yeah.
you a visa.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any life for the lifeless?
Yes, there's so much life. In fact, that's one thing that we should all know that um I mean anybody can be refused visa. Even the president can be refused visa. If the president of Ghana wants to go to US and US doesn't need him, he will be refused a visa. You know that there were presidents that were refused visa to the US. You heard about that, right? Yes.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
anybody, the same way that Ghana can refuse even Trump visa to come to Ghana. So far as we are in our own jurisdiction, we are in our own country, governed by our own laws, we can refuse everybody. So visa refusal is never the end to anything. In fact, there are people who get refused 5 times, 6 times, and the seventh time they get it. I'm not saying you will go through that or you should go through that in life. I pray nobody goes through that because I know what it takes to invest your time and everything. But then what I just want to say is getting refused doesn't change anything. You can restructure, come back to do whatever wasn't done right, and then you go again and you will get it. The fact that you are refused doesn't mean you won't get it. Yes, me myself. Sometime I applied for UK visa. They refused me. I got so mad. I wrote them a long letter. Just 1 week, they gave me back the visa. So it's just you understand whatever they told you, you just fix it. Like I'm traveling to the UK. I'm going with my staff. All my staff have been given the visa because they are paid salaries. And then the one who pays them salary was not given the visa because your documents are plenty. You need to show source of fund, you need to show this, that, owner, business owner, whatever. You get it. So it doesn't, so visa is not just about, it's not the end to anything. Whatever reasons that were given in the visa for the refusal, just treat it, just deal with the reason and then you apply again, you should be given. Only if you are not banned in that country. Yes. Sometimes people use fraudulent documents and all of that. That's also something I should tell you that whenever you are dealing with these things, sometimes bank statements and sometimes forged documents, UK will ban you for 10 years. Canada is 5 years. Other countries, 10 years and all of that. So if anybody is even helping you, make sure that you are doing the right thing. Other than that, at the end of the day, it's you, the applicant, who is going to be banned, not the person who is helping you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shadrack Otchere. It's been an interesting conversation. Would you like to share your channel so that our participants can follow?
Yes. So, in fact, I have this. I prepared this for my as attendee handout for my
Okay.
participants, and after this, you put it in there. You give it to them, so everybody can download one. This is a summary of everything I spoke about. Okay, so this is attendee handout. It has admission word consults there. It has our website. It has my email, Shadrack at Admission Work Consult. It has our WhatsApp there. You can search me up on LinkedIn. You can also check us on Instagram and all of that. Yeah, we try to be a little bit active there. Yes. So yes, this will be given to you as attendee handout. So all the scholarships are listed there. You will see them, application submission, the documents you need, I mean, everything I talked about, I've given you, this is your handout. And so it should help you to refer whenever you want to take a decision. So this is pro bono case for you. I'm giving it out to you. So when we are done, the moderator will share with you, and then you would all have a copy for your reference.
Sure. So our links are on the page in our chat box. You can follow us on all social media, Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Drive to Inspire Africa. Just connect with us, engage us, and you would have a copy of the playbook. Mr. Otchere, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think we are far, how do you call it, behind time. So
Yeah.
would want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for the insights. Thank you for all the information you have given to us for free. And we are grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been our monthly webinar series at Drive to Inspire. And I would like to go, I would have loved to go and give you a brief summary of everything that we discussed, but unfortunately, time is not our best ally. So what I'll do is I'll leave you with a message from Michael Jordan, our NBA superstar, and he said, I can accept failure. Everybody fails at something. But what I cannot accept is what the inability to try again. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much and have a good evening. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.